Hey, good morning. This is John Nelson. I'm the president of Essinta Labs, Essinta Wings. I want to welcome you to a quick demonstration video to give you a look and feel for the software and why Essinta Wings is a great choice for your FBO business. So first thing you want to do is go to essintawings.com. I'm going to click Login. We have demonstration credentials up and running, and you can get those from our team if you want to use the software yourself and take a look at it. So the first thing I did was I logged in, and you're presented with this screen right here. This is our dashboard administrative overview of the software. What this screen shows is the number of tickets that you've run today, items sold, different customers who've been into the FBO, and how many open tickets you have on hand. Also, at an immediate glance, you can see tickets on the screen, each one showing a ticket number. That's a hyperlink that you can use to reprint or edit an open ticket, the status of the ticket, the date it was opened and closed, the payment type, these glyphicons, credit card symbol to show payment was received on a credit card, $ if it was cash, piggy bank if it was on account, and there's another symbol if it was received by check, the amount of the invoice, the customer, the tail number, any notes that appeared on the invoice, and over here are invoice notes that were put on there. So our notes are your notes that are shown internally that your customer won't see. So this could be something like ensure the car is pulled out on the ramp upon arrival. And you would see that right here. Of course, our software is mobile friendly, and with that in mind, some of the notes may be longer than you would normally have or show on the screen, so we can click on these yellow balloons, and doing so will pop up the notes just like this so that you can read them and review the details. Also on the screen are several graphs. Right now, today, I haven't run any transactions. Actually, in this particular demonstration version of the software, I haven't run any in quite a while. So there are no graphs being shown. We have our Twitter feed here to send messages to you. And down here on the right is a FlightAware widget for your airport. And if you're running the FlightBridge integration link, it would show there. So the first thing everybody wants to know is, hey, how do I make a sale? Let's do a quick jet fuel sale. So over on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on Create Invoice. Invoice screen comes up. Looks like a general invoice, and I have two options. I can enter a customer code or enter a tail number. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and enter a tail number, 325 Mike, and that pulls up the customer and his current balance on hand. If there were notes for this customer, they would show right here, and you could click on them and pop them up on the screen. We'll go ahead and do a fuel sale and click the fuel button. And from this list, I can pick a fuel truck. So we've used some data that came from Yelvington Jet Aviation at Daytona Beach, and I have several of their fuel trucks here. So I'm going to choose DJ5, which is Daytona Jet Truck 5. Now, I have not run a fuel ticket in several days. There's a feature in the program that if no ticket has been run on a particular truck in 72 hours, then you're required to re-enter the starting totalizer value. Of course, people always ask me, do I have to use meters? And my answer there is no, you don't have to use the meters. Of course, you're losing about 50% of the benefit of using software if you're not using the meters because you're not reconciling your tickets. You do have a choice, though. You can enter totalizer start and finish values, or you can just enter the net gallons, and the software will automatically calculate the next starting value from that. So in this case, I'm going to put in a starting value, 100,000, and we'll say that we took on 350 gallons of fuel. To keep things simple, I'll do the same on the other fuel meter. 150 gallons. I have a choice if I want. I can include PRIST, which I'm going to do, and I can click, I can add my initials, and click Submit. If you're using our fuel automation technology, that ticket would have automatically flowed into the system and been part of what you see on the screen. Now we're back at the main invoice, and you can see I've got quantity 350 for the first meter, and I've got quantity 150 for the second meter. The unit price was $4.36. That was our posted price, but notice there's a 45-cent discount. We could go take a look at this customer and see what the discount on hand is. It could have been due to a tier, or I had him set up. Offhand, I don't remember. I can go ahead and add another item. We will add catering, and we'll add a ramp fee. So if I have catering, put in the amount of the catering order, add a record, and I'll choose a ramp fee. All right, at this point, I have a ticket. Now, for demonstration purposes, this is kind of how you operate, but the odds of just making a ticket and cashing out right there aren't that high. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the ticket open and return to the main screen. Now what you'll see is we have an additional open ticket over here and the ticket that we created. So back to the main dashboard, I've created 325 Mike. I can click on the hyperlink for that ticket and follow that back into the invoice. So he's come back into pay. I can accept payment from him, cash, checks, credit card, or on account. I am going to choose credit card. Our system does support bank cards through multiple bank card interfaces and networks. Our system does support processing cards for the various fuel brands, Epic, AppFuel, Shell, Multi-Service Direct, among others. But for the demo right now, I'm just using an example where I'm running offline credit cards. So I chose a Visa card. I'm putting in the last 4 digits and an approval code for that Visa card. Of course, if you're running cards with us, you could have swiped that information and the system would go out to the web and retrieve an authorization code. I do have the invoice set to automatically print, and that's what would happen next. You see the invoice. It's been pulled up on the screen. So this is what our invoice would look like. We show your logo at the top, where to remit the transaction, the date and time, the customer who it was sold to. The details of the ticket are shown here. I've got in my setup, I have the taxes itemized on the invoice. I have a message at the bottom, and we use a little watermark here to give some information. So we show whether an invoice is open, voided, or paid. Of course, what's most important is I can print the invoice over here on the right, choosing the print button, or I can email the invoice just by clicking email. I can type in an email address. Once you've typed an address, it's saved for that customer and will remain on file, and that invoice goes out the door. So anytime if a customer calls back in and says, hey, I was here several days ago, so let's just say that November 1, 2, 3, 4 was here back on December 5th, and you need to send him an invoice, you could search for that tail number over here on the right-hand side, choose November 1, 2, 3. And this will show all the invoices for November 1, 2, 3. I can expand out the number of rows that I want to look at for that particular customer. And I've got the capabilities to actually change whether to show approved, open, or voided tickets. So I can really limit my searches and do work from here. I'll change the search real quick and we'll change it to Tyson Corporation. So I'll choose Tyson. Let's say he called in. Here's all the tickets related to Tyson Corporation, and I can go back at any time, click on one, pull it up on the screen, and I'm able to then email it or print it, resend it if he needs a copy of it. Other quick item in this section of the demo is I've shown you how to accept an invoice. We ran a fuel ticket. We accepted payment. Sometimes we want to void a ticket. I've showed you how to print and email a ticket. So we have another screen here. Browse Tickets. That's just another way to look at the same data. What's nice on here is I can put in date and time parameters to look at the data. So if you notice right now, this only shows one ticket, the one that we just ran. I can click on the calendar link and tell it to show me last month and hit refresh. I ran 3 tickets last month. This screen's slightly different too, that it actually shows batch numbers and gateways if credit cards were used to accept the payments. And from here, I can void a ticket. So if we wanted to void this ticket right here for November, we'll void November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Quebec Sierra. We just click on the X. So if it's an open ticket, I can click on the pencil. Magnifying glass will allow me to reprint the ticket, and the X allows me to void the ticket. Anytime I can click on the logo at the top, return to the main screen. I know that was a quick demonstration, but gives you a real quick feel of how easy it is to generate a ticket in essintaWings and essintaPOS. We did make an invoice. We put a fuel ticket on the invoice with PRIST, 2 meters. We added catering and a ramp fee. We saved the invoice as an open ticket, came back to the main screen, acted as if the pilot came back from lunch, clicked on open ticket for that particular ticket, went back in and saved it. We accepted payment to credit card. I printed the ticket and emailed it, and I showed you how to browse and void a ticket. Appreciate your time. Look for our next video.